Hey guys, this is Adam Gussow coming at you with another in a series of videos. I think I'm going to do a series of videos on rhythm playing and on stuff you can do to kind of mix a little chord and melody action together. The first video that I did, which has the word fantastic, I think somewhere in the title, has gotten more positive reaction than anything I've done in a long, long time. So that tells me that what I'm giving you is what you want. Even a guy like me who's played for a lot of years, played for a lot of decades, sometimes I put the harp down and I don't touch it for a while. This is, by the way, a C harp. It's a Hohner Marine Band. It's an off-the-shelf Hohner Marine Band. Sometimes I don't touch the harp for a while, and when I get back to it, my chops, you know what I mean by my chops, my embouchure, the jaw muscles, all that stuff in here that kind of aches. If you haven't played for a while, even me, I've been playing for years, but if I don't play for a week, and that happens, then sometimes when I start playing after like 5 minutes or less, 2 or 3 minutes, I'll get that ache kind of all around here. That's your chops. We call that your chops. And that's something, it's like, I'm a distance runner, and you got to put in your base mileage. If you're a harmonica player, you probably know this. Maybe you're an obsessive and you're playing an hour a day anyway. But if you don't, if you only pick it up every now and then, you don't actually ever develop the required strength in your muscles. So let's talk about that rhythm that I played right at the top. I've been selling this for a long time on off my Modern Blues Harmonica channel. I call it Adam's PowerHarp Groove. So let's talk about how I did it. Okay, so the first thing is you need the right key harmonica, key of C Marine Band. The opening phrase, now here's the thing, you can't do that full power thing without being able to do certain things behind it. So last time around, I showed you how to do just the basic in and out, chord. So that's fantastic shuffle rhythm for beginners. Go and find that one. I'm not going to redo it. I'm just going to say you got to have that one in your pocket before you get near this one, because if you don't, you're going to fall down. So let's assume that you can do fantastic shuffle blues rhythm for harmonica players. So what's the opening of the thing that I just did today, the PowerHarp Groove, as I call it? So I'm going to do it two different ways. The first thing would be, and you have to be able to bend a little bit to make this work. I'm going to start with just single notes, and then I'm going to add the dirt, as Joe Falisco calls it, the dirt, where you kind of do 2 notes at a time. So the single notes, so that's the little, isn't that cool? That's a kind of a tricky thing. Even that little thing, if that's all you can get. Now that doesn't have any bend. So what am I doing? 3 draw, 4 blow, back to 3 blow. Now that right there is a trick, because the 2 draw, 3 blow, same note. So 3 draw, 4 blow, 3 blow. See, even I make mistakes when I try to slow down and detune. Then you do 3 draw and 2 draw. So 3 draw, 4 blow, 3 blow, 3 draw, 2 draw. Check it out. 5 notes. And the key thing is what you're counting in your head, a 4 and a 1. So the downbeat of 1 of the first bar is the 5th note. That's crucial. Got to have the timing thing right in your head. A 4 and a 1. So you got to be able to count it out like that. A 4 and a 1. When I count it like that, I'm not talking about the whole, I'm talking about the beat. A 4 and a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4 and a 1. That's how this one works. So the first thing is it has an interesting rhythmic concept. It's not straightforward. It has a kind of what we call a pickup, where you have a few notes before the 1, before the downbeat, the first beat of bar 1. Can you do that much? That's stage 1, but there's at least 3 stages on this one. All right. Now, and let me add the chord to it. So I'm going to do, with my tongue on the roof of my mouth, I'm going to hit the 1, 2, 3 draw on the upbeat. There's no magic here. It's all doable. The magic's when I don't slow it down and I don't tell you what I'm doing, and I just go. And you go, what's that? So all I'm doing is going 2 draw, and then I'm opening my lips to get 1, 2, 3 draw, and using my tongue, roof of my mouth. Can you do that? Ta. 2 draw, 1, 2, 3 draw. No magic. It's all doable, all doable. And then I'm going to go blow with a tongue. Now that's the whole thing. That's basically, you do that and you got the whole thing, and then you just repeat it. And I have a couple of variations the second time through, I think. But basically you do that for the first 8 bars of the song. A 4 and a 1, a 2, a 3. Can you say that? Say it out loud. Let me hear you. Say it. Okay. A 4 and a 1. And you should be tapping your foot or your hand or something. A 4 and a 1, a 2, a 3. Now if you can do just that much, you got 75% of it. But then there's 2 more things to make it sound better. The first one is to pull a little bit on that 3 draw. You know, I don't pull much. Instead of, I go, I'm kind of, it's a little bend, it's a little mild bend. I'm rubbing a little pitch off it, which bluesifies it just a little. You don't want to overdo it. If you go, no, not right, not right. But the moment when that really begins to enter is when you do the third thing, which is when you add a little bit of the 4 as you pull down the 3. And watch what happens. That's when you're suddenly, as we say, you're cooking with gas. You got that turbocharger on that on that Honda. Now that's different than, and it's tricky. And the reason it's tricky for 2 reasons. Because what you're, and this blues harmonica is not as easy as some people imagine. You know, some people think it's just, and I could do that and I could post a video and say, fastest harmonica player in the world. Come on, come on. Anybody can do that. This is harder. And it's harder because, sort of like being a pitcher and throwing a screwball or a cork ball, or not a cork ball, but throwing a pitch with some spin on it, you got to have a lot of strength and a lot of control at the same time, and you have to be able to release at particular moments, okay? So it's more like a getting up on the high wire and kind of doing flips like that. So instead of, I'm going without bending down the 2, but just bending the 3. And now I'm going to do this slow. So on the 3 draws, and there's 2 of them in that lick, it starts on a 3 draw, and which I don't know if it's a 3rd or 4th note, but there's 2 3 draws. And both of them are bent down slightly, and both of them, when you're really cooking with gas, have the 4 draw added in on the right corner of your mouth. You can kind of open up a little bit. So it's the difference between, you see how we went from the unbent 3 to the slightly bent 3 to the slightly bent 3 with some 4? Now it's real hard it takes a lot of strength to get that, and it takes control. Because if you bend down that 3, when you add in the 4, if you bend down the 3 too much, it sounds like that, and you don't want that. So it's a paradox. How can you pull really hard, get just a little bit of bend, and get the 2 notes to jam together? See, this is the... Now I did a little vibrato too. Let's forget the vibrato. That's stage 4. And if you get it, there is a magic here, and it has something to do, I'm sure, with the precise pitches that you're getting, that somehow the higher harmonics are blending, because when you get it right, the 2 notes become one sound, and it's a raw, aggressive, very bluesy sound, we're trying to get just a little bit of that seasoning. It's like that magic spice from the, you know, the spice jars that somebody gave, the witchy woman gave you years ago, and you're making a special gumbo for that special somebody. You want to put a little pinch of that, but you don't want too much, or they'll say, what's that? It's too much. So just a little. Now, there's one other thing, and this is really important, and it's part of why this is so tricky. And again, this is advanced blues harmonica. This is not for beginners. If you're a beginner, flee from this video or send it to your friends and go, what is this? Shh. Who does he think he is? Nobody can do that. Well, you can do this. You can do this, but it's advanced. Because to get all the little pieces right so that it actually sounds good, it's hard for me. When I first pick up the harp, that's why I do this. Because to get all the pieces working right, it's like you're a ballet dancer, you know, it's gonna take you a while to warm up with your leg up and all the stretches, and well, that's sort of what you're doing here. You're getting everything to line up. And one of the tricky parts is that you don't want to flat out the 4 blow. Remember, that 4 blow is in there in the middle. And you want just a single 4 blow. And you don't want to stop things, you want them to keep rolling. So if I try to go real slow with it, it's hard, slow. Yeah, that works, okay. Now if I'm not careful, I keep the bending energy that I want on the 3 draw with that little bit of 4 added. If I keep that bending energy in my mouth and I move to the 4 blow, and I don't let that energy go, I'm gonna flat out the 4 blow. Let's see if I'm right about that. Well, maybe this is a good harp. It didn't happen. So maybe let's not worry about that. So that's part 1. And then you go, what? It's not as hard as the first part. You slide down to the 1 draw. You do the 2 draw whole step bend. And you let it up. And you go to the 3 draw, no bend on it, just open 3. And back to 2 draw. Can you practice that with me? All right, and that's a cool lick. So even if you can't do all the other stuff, you can get that lick. You can say, well, I can do half of Adam's rhythm. Okay, so here's how it fits together. So you'll notice that both sort of part A and part B, they both have the same thing on the second half of them, which is that they both have that. Okay, so that's interesting. So there's a lot of repeated terrain. And that's actually one of the reasons why the rhythm works. This is my invention. I didn't copy this from a record. I made this up. And I think it's kind of cool, isn't it? And I'm giving it to you. And you know what? This video's over. I'm going to show you just that much. So I'm not going to show you how to do the 5 chord, the 4 chord, and the tail end of this thing and the turnaround. I'll do that in my next video. Okay, so stay tuned and I'll be back with something else. Bye-bye.